Hello, this is Maximin. I'm happy to see you again for a new video. Today we're going to talk about Bazi or Chinese astrology, and most importantly, we'll explore together why it's so valuable for your emotional balance, personal growth and health. I also wanted to let you know that my book, Introduction to Bazi, has just been released. It's a clear and accessible guide to help you take your first steps into the world of Chinese metaphysics. Details are in the description below. You've probably already heard of the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. But did you know that this popular tradition is only a small part of a much broader and deeper system called Bazi or Chinese astrology? Here is a quote from the Huangdi Neijing. This sentence expresses a fundamental truth of ancient Chinese medicine and Taoist philosophy. In simple words, our human body is a reflection of the universe. We are one with nature. This means that we are subject to the same laws as the stars and the cycles of yin and yang. It also means that our health, our constitution, and even our illness are directly influenced by celestial dynamics. Here is an illustration showing the place of the human being in nature and the relationship between the sky, the earth, the moon, and the sun. Life is an experience. Whether in Taoist or Buddhist thought, life is not a fixed destiny, but a living journey. Each cycle, each encounter, each challenge is an opportunity to learn, transform, and grow. Bazi sheds light on these experiences, helping us better understand our life path and live in harmony with our true self. In Taoism, life is seen as a dynamic process, a flow in motion. It teaches us to move with the current rather than against it. The Tao Te Ching reminds us that we should align ourselves with the natural flow, the Tao. On the left, you see a representation of a Taoist. On the right, a representation of a Buddhist. In Buddhist philosophy, life is understood as a path of learning. Through the experience of suffering or dissatisfaction, we gradually move towards understanding and then towards liberation. Difficult moments are not seen as punishments, but as teachings. This is what we call the Dharma in Sanskrit, or Fa in Chinese. Spiritual growth happens through experience. Let's now look at the direct connection with Chinese medicine. In Chinese medicine, health is the expression of a dynamic balance between qi, blood, the internal organs, emotion, and external influences. Bazi is an exceptional tool to understand the nature of your qi, or in other words, your birth energy, what defines you at your core. Each person is born with a unique energetic constitution, shaped by the celestial influences at the precise moment of their birth. Bazi helps identify your natural strengths, your vulnerabilities, the elements that nourish you, and those that, if you are out of balance, can exhaust you. Here are two examples of imbalance we often find in Bazi, and how they are interpreted using the language of Chinese medicine. If your chart shows a lack of water element and water is useful to your structure, it may indicate kidney weakness, fatigue, or difficulty making progress with your projects. If your chart shows an excess of metal, it might express as mental rigidity, excessive control, or sensitivity in the lung system. Just like in Chinese medicine, Bazi analysis is complex. To get the most complete and accurate picture, it's useful to look at several layers: the Daymaster, the structure, the 5 elements, the 10 gods, and the symbolic stars. We'll talk more about these elements later in the video. A quick note of caution: this is not a medical diagnosis. It doesn't replace modern medicine, Chinese medicine, or any medical treatment. The goal is to help you understand your energetic self so you can take action early on. For example, by choosing the right foods, the right Qigong practices, or a lifestyle that aligns with your true nature. Bazi is often described as a birth chart, based on the interaction of the sun, the moon, and the 5 elements. It helps us understand how universal laws are imprinted within us from our very first breath. This is where Chinese medicine and Bazi come together with a shared goal to harmonize the human being with the rhythm of nature, meaning both heaven and earth. This alignment allows us to prevent imbalance and cultivate health in the broadest sense: physical, energetic, emotional, and spiritual. So, in all of this, what is the role of Qi? Qi is often translated as energy, but to be more precise, we could say it's a vital breath, the vibration of life that animates both the universe and the human being. I also like to think of Qi as the great alchemist of nature. In both Chinese medicine and astrology, Qi is central. It flows through your meridians, nourishes your organs, shapes your emotions. It influences how you think, how you react, and in short, how you live. Bazi allows us to map out the nature and dynamics of our Qi at birth. We analyze the strengths of the day master based on the day you were born, the seasonal quality of the Qi at the time of birth, which relates to the months, the distribution of the 5 elements across the 4 pillars, the structure of the chart, the 10 gods, and the symbolic stars. This gives us valuable insights into your core energetic constitution, your cycles of transformation, and your moments of vulnerability or fullness. This subtle understanding is what makes Bazi complementary to differential diagnosis in clinical Chinese medicine. Bazi gives us the overall tendencies, while Chinese medicine observes how they manifest in the body at a given moment. As we said at the beginning, Bazi means 8 characters. But what are these 8 characters exactly? They come from the combination of the 4 pillars: year, month, day, and hour. Each pillar is made up of 2 components: a heavenly stem, Tiangan, which represents the energy of heaven, there are 10 of these, and an earthly branch, Dizhi, which represents the energy of earth, there are 12 of these. So the 4 pillars reveal the 8 characters that form your Bazi chart. Here is an example. On the top row, you can see the 4 heavenly stems, one for each pillar. And on the bottom row, the 4 earthly branches, also one per pillar. For the ancient Chinese, time is not linear, but cyclical. They identify a 60-year cycle called the sexagenary cycle, formed by combining the 10 heavenly stems with the 12 earthly branches. You can picture it like 2 gears, one with 10 teeth, the stems, and one with 12 teeth, the branches. Because they have different numbers of teeth, the combination shifts with each rotation, and it takes 60 turns to come back to the starting point. In China, this cycle are traditionally used to mark years, but also months, days, and hours, which allows us to track trends and cycles through the Bazi chart. Here you can see the same cycle shown in a circular form. The first pillar, the year pillar, represents your broader environment, extended family, society, and collective trends. In Chinese medicine, it can also indicate external environmental factors. The second pillar, the month pillar, is considered the most important in medical Bazi. It shows your original constitution, the strength of your seasonal qi, and is often associated with the health of your main organs. It also reflects parental influences and your ability to adapt to the world. The third pillar is the day pillar. This is where the day master is located, the day you were born. It's the heart of the chart. It reflects your personal vitality, your deep temperament, and your relationship with yourself and intimacy. The fourth pillar is the hour pillar. It represents projects, creativity, children's, and also your potential for regeneration, dreams, the unconscious, and a long-term transformation. In Chinese medicine, it's often used to assess the Qing or vital essence strength. So can Bazi actually predict the future? Many people think that astrology is about predicting fixed events, but Bazi doesn't foresee rigid outcomes. It reveals cyclical patterns, such as annual cycles and major log cycles, which interact with your natal chart. This cycle can strengthen or weaken certain elements, creating windows that are either good or bad for your health, projects, your emotion, and even your relationships. But how does Bazi view our role within this energetic flow? Bazi is not an oracle, it's a mirror of your inner nature. Your destiny is not fixed in advance. It's a result of your tendencies, your character, and the choices you are most likely to make. In fact, Bazi is an incredibly powerful tool for self-knowledge. In Chinese medicine, healing the body begins with understanding our own self. Bazi shows you your natural strengths, your way of reacting to stress, what calms you, and what throws you off balance. And most importantly, it gives you concrete tools to live in alignment with your true energy. This self-awareness also allows you to choose preventing health practices tailored to your constitution. Some people will benefit more from spleen qigong and others from kidney qigong. You can think of Bazi as what you received at birth. Each of us is born with a certain capital, talents, vitality, and a particular emotional tone. But since we are not handed a user manual, many people move forward blindly, hesitate, make mistakes, or get stuck in repetitive patterns. Bazi helps you discover that manual, what you are given, what you can transform, and what you can cultivate. In Chinese medicine, it's said that 80% of imbalances have an emotional component. By understanding your Bazi chart, you can discover your dominant emotions and your vital needs in terms of rhythm, environment, climate, and activity. Just like in Chinese medicine, there is a strong link between the organs and the emotions. Anger is linked to the liver, joy to the heart, worry and overthinking to the spleen, sadness to the lungs, and fear to the kidneys. We can use Bazi as a tool for emotional regulation. By understanding your chart, you can identify the strengths and weaknesses of each organ and better understand why certain emotions are dominant or poorly regulated. It's not personal development in the modern sense, but rather an energetic alignment with your deepest self. In Chinese medicine, we often speak of the trinity of body, qi, and spirit. These three elements must be in harmony for a people to be truly healthy. Bazi helps you realign your spirit and choose a direction in life that better reflects who you really are. This idea is deeply rooted in Chinese philosophy and traditional thought. It also helps us better understand others. After all, our health is also shaped by our environment and the people around us. Bazi allows us to understand our loved one, to communicate more clearly, and to choose the right collaborator and partners. It's a powerful tool for relationship and social harmony, one that strengthens connection while preserving your personal integrity. As a conclusion, we can say that Bazi is not a belief system. It's an art of reading, understanding, and also a tool for action. We can use it to support our health, our well-being, and our personal growth. If this topic speaks to you and you would like to explore your own Bazi chart, feel free to contact me by email or the link in the description. You can also share this video with your friends. Until then, take good care of yourself, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye!